The Kansas City Chiefs add a new wide receiver, but the Buffalo Bills add new stadium picks? What's up, everybody? It's Rev here, the host of Rated Rev on the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel, live on Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Smash that like, hit the subscribe button, and turn on the bell notifications. Let's keep it moving. As I was saying, the Kansas City Chiefs added wide receiver Kadarius Toney, and the Buffalo Bills instead added renderings of their new stadium. In response to what the Chiefs did by adding Kadarius Toney, this is what the Bills did.
Here, hold 'em beer. Now we see who swing the fastest gun.
It's kind of a weird flex, ain't it? But don't worry about it. We got plenty of time to get into the Bills stadium renderings in a little bit. But first, let's dive in a little further into this news about the Chiefs. Now, Jordan Schultz initially reported that the Giants traded their former 2021 first-round draft pick, wide receiver Kadarius Toney, to the Kansas City Chiefs in exchange for a conditional third-round draft pick and a sixth-round draft pick. Tom Pelissero also tweeted that, and I quote, "Toney's contract is fully guaranteed for about $5.2 million through 2024, plus a fifth-year option." So the Giants get that money off of their books and pick up third and sixth round draft picks, while Kansas City bets on the upside of the 20th overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. Now, so far, it looks like a win-win for both clubs when you look at it, right? But as Pelissero indicated in his tweet, though the wide receiver needy Giants got rid of their former first-round pick, Kadarius Toney, they cleared money from their books and added a couple of mid to late-round draft picks in exchange for that. But meanwhile, an already explosive Chiefs offense added another explosive weapon. Now, I get it, though. As a Bills fan, I know that it's easy for us just to brush something like this aside, especially considering the fact that the Bills just beat the Chiefs a couple of weeks ago.
He literally has to jump over a guy to sustain a drive.
He's unbelievable. First down Buffalo. He got all the way down to the 12-yard line.
He does the same thing right there to Reed that he did to Snead last year.
Josh made a great play. It was fun to watch.
Just trying to make a play for our team.
We're so used to it now. It's like, oh, there's Josh hurdling people yet again.
Here comes Allen. Looking long. Throws to the end zone. And the ball is caught. Of all people, it's Dawson Knox.
I mean, Josh just put it to where no one else could get it.
Oh, how good of a throw is that right over the top.
One of those plays that shows that he's the best player in the league.
24-20. The Bills lead it by 4 points with 1:04 left to play. How do you like that?
He was going to have to go all 60 minutes, if not 70 minutes. We just kept fighting.
Mahomes takes, has a pocket, gets away to the right a little bit. He fires downfield. It is picked off by Taron Johnson. He goes down right there, and the Bills have the football. They pick off Patrick Mahomes. Bills score a big one at Arrowhead against the Chiefs with a big win. The two best teams in the league put on quite a show.
They might actually be the team to beat now.
That game was fantastic. I was mad that it ended. It was everything we wanted it to be.
Let's go!
But need I remind you, Bills Mafia, that as good as the Bills defense is, when they last played the Chiefs, this is what they surrendered on defense. Are you ready? Here we go. 113 yards and 1 touchdown on 5 receptions to wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster of all people, who prior to the Bills game had just this.
33 yards, 0 touchdowns versus the Raiders. 46 yards, 0 touchdowns versus the Bucks. 89 yards, 0 touchdowns versus the Colts. 10 yards, and 0 touchdowns versus the Chargers. And 79 yards, and guess what? You guessed it, 0 touchdowns versus the Arizona Cardinals in their season opener. Now, they also surrendered 108 yards on 8 receptions to all-pro tight end Travis Kelce. But although they shut down Marquez Valdez-Scantling in their matchup, he is a capable wide receiver.
So do not underestimate, ladies and gentlemen, Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy's ability to turn Kadarius Toney into a playmaker. Because when he's healthy, he can be very, very dangerous. Take a look at this. Now, while at the University of Florida, the multifaceted Toney had 1,590 yards receiving, averaging 13.3 yards per reception, 12 receiving touchdowns, 580 yards rushing, 8.8 yards per carry, 2 rushing touchdowns. Then he added 324 kick return yards, averaging 21.6 yards per return, and 147 punt return yards, averaging 11.3 yards per return on punts, with 1 punt return touchdown. You see, you cannot simply classify Toney as a wide receiver only, because that is not what he is. What he is, however, is a dynamic playmaker who, in Randy Reed and Eric Bieniemy's offense, with Patrick Mahomes pulling the trigger, will be very dangerous. So don't fall for recency bias either, okay? I realize that he sustained some injuries throughout his early career in the NFL, but let's not forget, he was on a very poor Giants team that did not use him properly. I can guarantee you one thing: Andy Reid will not make that same mistake. Now, I'm not saying that the Bills should be worried or concerned or shaking in their boots or whatever the case may be, but what I am saying is they should keep a watchful eye on the Chiefs, because we know that the team we played and beat on October the 16th will not be the team we see in January. But let me say this: the same team the Chiefs saw and lost to on October the 16th, the Buffalo Bills, will not be the same team they see in January in the playoffs, baby. I'm tired. No more. Enough of giving them credit. Let's keep it moving, baby. It's all about the Buffalo Bills. Let's go. In response to what the Chiefs did by adding Kadarius Toney, this is what the Bills did.
Here, hold 'em, Bear. Now we see who swing the fastest gun.
Now, look, I kid you not. It was not the trade news I was expecting to hear, but here we are. I wonder if it was some sort of smokescreen by the Bills to give Brandon Beane the coverage he needs to make moves incognito. No, not that incognito, fool. Now we're talking. So what are my initial thoughts of the stadium renderings, you ask? Well, first off, I think they look absolutely fantastic. And that area where the 3 standing Buffaloes are, amazing. In fact, Bills EVP/Chief Operating Officer Ron Raccuia said on One Bills Live the other day that they're generically calling that area Family Circle, and I quote, to celebrate the history of the Buffalo Bills there, the history of our community, and the history of Seneca Nation. Isn't that amazing? Now listen, I realize that there's a contingency of Bills fans who want a dome. I get it. But come on, Bills Mafia. Take a look at this. You cannot replicate that type of environment in a dome. Besides, the last time I checked, this is Buffalo, not LA. And the canopy, I realize that there's people who are concerned about the weather, but the canopy, according to Ron Raccuia, the canopy covers about 65% of the stadium, so you're going to be okay. In addition to that, the stacked seating is going to protect against the elements, and there will be radiant heating. Plus, the wind will be mitigated by the overall design of the stadium. So there you go. You're going to be fine, right? But, you know, what do I know? I'm just a Texas kid who's used to the heat and has never been to a home game in all of my life. Moving along. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers are currently anywhere between 10.5 to 11.5 point underdogs going into Highmark Stadium to play the Bills on Sunday Night Football. This happens to be the first time in Aaron Rodgers' career being a double-digit underdog. Can you believe that? Well, maybe, just maybe, if he wasn't playing games in the offseason, he'd still have Devontae Adams to throw the ball to instead of this. then he might not have been a double-digit underdog for the first time in his career. But if we know anything about Aaron Rodgers, which we do, he's going to do what he does best. And that's... However, I will give him this. He has won 13 consecutive primetime starts, which happens to be the longest streak since 1970. Well, guess what, Mr. Rodgers? Records are meant to be broken, and the streaks don't last. Forever. I can spell too. And when it's all said and done, you've got to face Leslie Frazier's defense, which ranks, let me give you the stats, number 1 in total D, number 1 in scoring, number 1 in rushing defense, and number 1 in interceptions per game. In conclusion, what do you think, Bills Mafia? What do you think about the game? Drop a comment below and give me your score predictions. Also, don't forget to smash that like and subscribe to the channel. As always, God bless and go Bills.